Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast, and it's we had an away game, so it's obviously a defeat we're going to talk about because that's Rotherham United away games and defeat, a match made in heaven or hell, I suppose it would be. But we'll talk about a 2-1 defeat away a seriously depleted Mansfield team, and we'll see where the evening takes us. Danny's back with us. How you doing, mate?
I'm not doing too bad, mate. I think I've calmed down a little bit from yesterday. But I'm more bothered about we have brought you another new location for New York Talk. We've had a car park in Wales, various locations, but I'm coming to you from the function room at work. So I just want to say thank you to Lauren to actually letting me use the function room for the podcast, even though it's in Doncaster, which many of the regulars aren't very happy about, truth be told, but tough. But yeah, let's get into the day and try and dissect it where we can, eh?
Yeah. Kev's back. How you doing, Kev?
Good, mate, considering.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lewis Holmes back with us for the first time in ages. Lewis, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, not bad, thank you, mate. Yeah, not bad. I don't think it's changed since last time I've been on. We're still losing away every time. So we're par for the course. Yeah,
exactly. Loads of people with us in the comments. Steve Gunn is with us. Evening all, same old interview for the manager. Sorry, but something has to change. Shorgan says evening all, just knew what was coming when we conceded. Miller's 6-6 with us, as is Martin Hall on YouTube, was a Chris Page. Darren Cook says evening, we seem to be worse off than we were under Evans. Harris is rapidly falling out of love with football. Richard's with us from Northern Cyprus. Phil, Cheryl, Fisherman, Sid are all with us, and a few more other people as well. Thank you all for being with us. Yeah, let's get into it, Kev. We'll talk about the incidents in a minute, but just a bad performance. We'll talk in a minute about 10, 15 minutes at the start of the game being quite good and being positive a little bit. But it's a bad performance, and to make it worse, it's against a team who barely have any players fit and available who played badly. That's what makes it worse for me. The whole circumstances just made everything worse.
Yeah, it did. I think I tweeted about it. I called it El Croquico because literally both teams are that depleted. It was quite embarrassing, and it was just put from the first minute. We just never really got going. But then I look back. I was obviously quite angry yesterday. We had a horrible journey home on train, and it wasn't very nice. And everyone on train with a very big split of hammy in, hammy out. You know, who do we play? Things like that. And then this morning I woke up and I just thought, do you know what? Looking back, it's out fine margins. If that Benson free kick goes in at 1-0, it's game over. It didn't go in, and we went to, like Sarah said, at 1-0 at half time. We're having a pint underneath the stand, and nobody felt confident. We should have been all buzzing, thinking, "Come on, we're going to win 2 or 3-0." We knew what would come in. Sadly.
Yeah, it's a similar story, Lewis. It's a very similar conversation to the Wimbledon game, although we probably did better in the first half of the Wimbledon game than we did yesterday. But it's this idea that even if we get in front, it almost feels like it doesn't matter because there's such long time left in the game and there's such negativity around the place, and the players are so fragile, the fans are so fragile. Hampshire seems a bit fragile as well. There is just this negative vibe which is just coming back again, and it feeds into what's happening.
Yeah, it's just been building for years at this point, and it's not going away anytime soon. Like, if anything, we scored too early yesterday. But as soon as that went in, I thought, as soon as something bad happens, it's just we're going to capitulate again. Yeah, it's just depressing again, isn't it?
Very, very, very depressing. Football Man says this isn't about injuries anymore. We're going backwards. Mansfield, also a team in injury crisis. They played us off the park. Only positive from the game is we didn't get a penalty. We got a penalty, that we didn't deserve. Let's just dig into some of the detail, Danny. Obviously, we will get a penalty whenever it was, 15, 20 minutes into the game. We talked about the instant reaction yesterday. Watching it back, it goes into the category of I don't think it's a penalty. It's off chest to hand, which we saw today in the Arsenal game. That if it comes off body to arm, it shouldn't be a penalty. That's my take. What do you think, Danny?
No, I agree. I mean, it wasn't even 15 minutes in. It were 7 minutes. So, yeah, we're like 7 minutes in or something. So there's an argument to say we did score a little bit early. But at the same time, we should have the character to defend the lead and try and get one more. I mean, there were me and Tom absolutely screaming in our group chat saying we need to push on and get another goal. And all right, we could have got that with Benson's free kick, but we need to carry on cracking on. But yeah, with the penalty, it's one of those decisions where if we had VAR and they looked at it, they'd spend 5-10 minutes looking at it, deciding what to do with it. But to say it's a very snap decision from the referee and it's body to arm, you could argue that it's hit the part of his body that's not illegal and then it's hit the illegal part of his body. So is that a ricochet? But then you have to factor in, is his arm in an unnatural position? I mean, I was speaking to one at Regulars downstairs earlier on and he said that a decision like that got given against Chelsea because it bounced up onto his arm. And it's like, but surely it's a ricochet onto his arm. It doesn't matter where his arm is if it's hit something else first. It's not like he's swatted it away like it's a fly. It's just bounced and hit his arm. But we said at the time, you know, it's in our benefit. We're not going to argue with it. But at the same time, like we said on the post-match reaction, if it was given against us, we'd be absolutely furious at it.
Yeah.
So it went in our favour, but then through our own self-destruction, it went in Mansfield's favour in the end anyway. So swings and roundabouts from a Mansfield perspective, I think.
Yeah. It should be said, I don't think the referee had a very good game overall. I think it was very similar to the ref last week, where it was just messy and had a bit of a messy game. Paul Rhodes watched it back this morning, definitely dubious. Paul Rubio says not a pen for him. Kev, what was your instant reaction on it? And then obviously actually watching it back, what do you think?
I don't even know. Honestly, I saw the referee blow. I thought he gave him a free kick against. And then when he pointed spot, I'm thinking, it's like, how long is it since we had a penalty? I can't remember.
Ages. Yeah.
And I looked at, I was similar. Obviously, that far away, I had no idea. Then I watched it back. I heard someone make a comment on Twitter. I can't remember who it was. The one about the fact that Hugo created the chance, that created the shot. He had the shot, but got the penalty. Okay. I think looking back, it read him more towards the canal behind the stand when it hit the guy. Well, that's not good. But, you know, fair play to him. He did it. And to be fair, he took the penalty really well.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Cool as anything. But, yeah, looking back this morning, there's never in a million years that's a penalty. I'd be raging if that were given against us.
Yeah, I would as well. Martin Miller says the only thing that had to be factored in was the fact that it hit the player's upper side, not his arm. Never a penalty. Awful from the referee. And this adds into the frustration, though, is that we've been given a bit of a gift. And again, Kev mentioned that Hugo deserves credit for taking it and taking it nicely. We never really took advantage of what you often see in those circumstances. We get a good decision, and the opposition kind of get hurt a little bit and step back, and you can then take the initiative. Nothing ever kind of took off from then onwards. It was just the same, really.
Yeah. We never kicked on, did we, at all? We've just got nothing in attack at the moment, have we? Like, I know it's partly injuries, but part of the system as well. Like it's not going for us at all. Like with Hugo, you're limited because there's no mobility at all at age. So it's just frustrating again, isn't it? Because we did our recruitment and we just ignored wide areas apart from wing backs, and it's backfired because it's left us a bit one dimensional, and even that dimension is not good, not effective at all. We just offered nothing again. Just never kicked on at all.
No, I absolutely didn't. I mean, it's really frustrating, Danny, because again, you've got this team that are struggling for players. Everything else we've talked about at Mansfield. Adding to that, they actually played badly as well. Maybe because of the circumstances, but they did play badly. And you lean up to half time and think, if you can just get that second goal, Benson's unlucky. Yeah, he is unlucky. It's from a free kick, but it's from a free kick. We didn't really create anything, and we'll talk about creative problems in a minute. But nothing was created at all against a team with no defenders. You've got to question it. You've got to question why. Where is this creativity? Where are these chances going to come from? We nearly scored from a free kick, and we had to score from a very soft penalty. Other than that, we were never going to score yesterday, and that's really worrying.
No, I think that has to fall onto not just the character of the players, and I hate saying this because I really like Matt Amshaw, but also the character of the coaching staff as well. Because we've said time and time again that we'll have a good first half where we'll play really well and have sparks of brilliance that we know we are capable of, and then second half we'll just disappear. After going 1-0 up. I mean, it happened against Port Vale. It happened against Wigan. It happened against Exeter. It happened against Wimbledon. happened against Mansfield. This is a recurring thing, and that for me has to lie at the coaching staff's door because they're not telling the players the right thing with how to deal with going 1-0 up. Like we can't respond to going 1-0 down. We can't respond that positively to going 1-0 up. Really, that's not a playing issue. That's a management issue. And all right, we've got a little bit of leeway with Amshaw because like first time manager and everything. Fair enough, but Dale Tom should know better because he's been an assistant manager for God knows how many years at Peterborough. Woody should know better, being an experienced centre half and being a leader in this team for numerous years. All right, it's a different thing going into coaching, but the principle is still the same. You just have to apply it in a different way. And I'd say same with Andy Warrington as well. He's been in this position before where he's coached Victor expertly into being one of the better players in the Championship this season eventually. Why isn't he having that impact with Cam Dawson? Why isn't Dawson going for particular balls? Why do all the goals that we concede, 9 out of 10 goals we concede seem soft? It's the mentality issue, and I think that's why Mansfield got the better of us. We are in the same boat injury-wise as Mansfield. It was the injury derby against Mansfield on Saturday, but we came out the losing side because of a mentality issue. It's like both goals Mansfield scored were from poor defending, and the only goal we scored, like you said, Matt, was from a dead ball situation that was dubious at best. The second goal we nearly scored was from a dead ball as well. Are we not going forward enough with our wing backs? We're not deploying the wing backs enough. Are we not sending enough balls into the box to use Hugel effectively? Are we still playing to suit Nombe, even though he's injured, and just trying to put a square peg in a round hole? I don't know what the correct answer is, but whatever we're doing seems to be the wrong answer, if that makes sense. And I think that's the thing we need to change. I'm not saying sack the coaching staff, sack the manager. I'm not saying that because I actually do think Amshaw will come good. But it's at this point where he needs to learn quickly as to something needs to change. He needs to evaluate the Mansfield loss coupled with the Wimbledon loss and go, right, where is it going really wrong? It's like we said on the post-match, Max, do the basics correctly. We aren't doing the basics correctly. We're doing everything else all right, but that doesn't work unless you do the basics correctly. And that's the thing we need to focus on now. And that's the thing that's frustrating for the fans, that we're not doing the basics. If we do the basics, everything can build from there. But it's like we're trying to do step 5 without knowing what step 1 is. And that keeps tripping us up and keeps tripping up the character and everything like that. You can have all the character in the world, but if you don't know how to do step 1, you'll never do step 5.
Yeah. And we'll talk about Bradford on the next episode, but Harry says Sheriff looks to be back for Thursday, so we might add a bit more up top, but we need to tighten at the back if we want to have a chance against top of the league, Kev. But it's all right saying Sheriff's back. If Sheriff plays yesterday, he'll get a touch because we're not creating anything. So there's a bigger problem. Even Nombe would have struggled in that game yesterday to create and find anything. Yeah. It's a very hard question. What is the problem in terms of creating chances? Is it organisation? Is it personnel? Where do you think the issue comes from?
Well, it's got to be personnel. I mean, you know what? Touch of both. I just don't think Hammy's got the right personnel to pick that kind of type of player. But he does keep saying he's going to change it, and we're not seeing any change, and that adds to frustration. Sheriff on Thursday, I'm not even sure I'd play him, if I'm honest. I think last thing we need to do is rush this lad back. He's 19 years old, and we saw him against Barnsley. We relied on him against Barnsley. It was shocking against. Similar thing, he never had touched the ball, got dragged off at half time. A, that's not going to do his confidence any good, and B, he's likely to probably pick up another injury, which just does even fans be on his back even more. But so it's like, what do we do if we change the formation and actually, like Danny says, right, get loads of balls into boxes? Who's actually going to get on end of him and stick him in back at net? It really is. I don't know. It's so tough. But what do you do? Like me personally, I'm not saying it's because people think I know. I mean, I don't. I've met him once at Woody's golf day. Like that's it. I think he told me to get out of the way, so I don't know him. There's no friendship. I just generally think it's about time we stuck with one manager and gave him a couple of windows and see what he can do. Rather than, for me, there's just no point in changing it. Yes, it's dreadful. Yes, it's awful to watch. yes, it's got to change, but what's point in changing it? I mean, straight away. Everyone's saying if we lose on Thursday, he's gone. But Bradford are top of the table for a reason. They're a good team. Yeah. Thursday is that's why I won't play Sharif. I'd save him because there's no point rushing him back. If I'm honest, I'd take a nil on Thursday night. I'd just play 9-1-0. Well, it's like 9-1-0 with Ugle from 10, ain't it? So no difference.
Yeah. Sean says didn't Hampshire suggest to be a change of formation? Still played the same formation. Awful, Lewis. And this is the thing we talked about last year a lot with Steve Evans and a little bit with Matt Taylor. Is as long as you can see progression, as long as you can see step forwards, we can all accept defeats. We're all grown ups. But particularly these last 3 games, I know we're very early in the season, but these last 3 games particularly, we've stagnated. And I know it's only 3 games, but we have stagnated in these 3 games. And when Matt, I'm sure, did say pre-match about changing things and compromising things a little bit, and then we do exactly the same thing, he's then talking himself a little bit into a hole and talking himself into a corner a little bit, I thought, with the pre-match, post-match, and the actual game itself.
Yeah, he's caused his own problems with that because once you say something like, "Oh, change is coming," and there's no change at all, obviously you can easily pick faults in that. And I'm very much on board again in more time. I think it's too early at the moment, given his lack of experience in this role and a big summer overall and everything, and the injuries factor as well. But you need to see some kind of progression at some stage, and the performances have been that dire that there's no wonder some people are losing faith, to be honest. I'm not there yet at the moment, but I can understand why people are doing that. But yeah, give it a few weeks and hopefully get Nombe back and a couple of others. Hopefully we see some kind of progression, but it looks bad at the minute, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. But there's football's one of the things. If we turn up Thursday and turn Bradford over, then we're all singing a different song out.
Best team ever. Thursday, aren't we?
Turn Bradford over. We're back. Sorted.
We're back. We'll be so back.
We'll generally be. I can see if obviously on the bet. I could see us being 4-1 at home on Thursday night.
Yeah,
it'd be unbelievable. Something should never happen.
Yeah, no, I agree. Where we have comments, Brian Vernon said, "I just don't get it. Tongue and Hammy are really well thought of coaches, and Wood is an experienced defender. Yet we can't seem to defend set piece. Batham will come onto that one, onto the goal." Mark Gamble says, "Elephant in the room. We're starting to question Hampshire. Are we thinking, well, Warren was never the relegation zone before picking up and giving it time? He's torn. Personally, wants him to succeed." Yeah. Let's just go through the instance, but Danny, before we get back to anything else, the first goal, is so bad. And again, Baptiste's a young lad. He's a young player. I don't want to dig him out too much. Oh my God, just stay switched on. Tyler Roberts didn't do anything on Saturday. He did nothing. And if you put him through, he's gonna score. And it was a great assist. It was Baptiste might as well assist him. It was just you mentioned earlier, just basic football. Yeah,
I mean, we said on the post-match reaction, you have to say switched on in those situations. Like, all right, yeah, it's a learning curve for Baptiste. He's still a young lad. He's not got a lot of minutes in the first team, which I think was one of our disadvantages against Mansfield. It was a very, very young back three in terms of age and experience at this level. But as soon as you're out the tunnel, you have to be switched on in a football match, especially as a defender, because unfortunately, if you switch off and the striker gets played in, it stops at your door. You know, all right, fair enough. The goalkeeper might dig you out a little bit, but you know, it's unfortunately Cam Dawson, so that's not going to happen. It's one of those where it's just like it's a learning curve for Baptiste, but it's just frustrating. It's majorly frustrating as a fan to watch because maybe we're used to the likes of Richard Woods, Michael Inekwe when he was actually on form, Semi Ajayi, who knew about those situations and knew how to deal with those. And now we've got a young lad on loan from Sheffield United who's still learning the craft of men's football and is not that developed yet. Which, like I say, I'm not trying to dig him out or anything. It's just a little bit of something to consider. But at the same time, he just has to do better. You know what I mean? Like I said, Tyler Roberts was not on his best game at all. against us, but that one moment, which is all a striker needs, lapse of concentration from the defender, is in, scores 1-1. And I even said in our group chat, if we don't concede within the first 10 minutes of the second half, we need to crack on. And I think it ended up being 17. So I think we need to push that to 20 minutes. Everyone stay switched on for 20 minutes, and we might be all right in the second half. But yeah, like I said, the age of the back line was probably a disadvantage. We needed that senior head. On a good day, we've got Thomas Holmes in there. He might organise them a bit better. But it is what it is. Baptiste has had a lapse of judgment, and it's cost us. It's let Mansfield back into the game. We've not responded well to it. And it just adds to more frustration. And I don't even think it's frustration directed at Richard Wood, which is a weird thing on social media. But it adds to the frustration that, like you say, Matt, we want them to do better. We want them to know the basics. It just needs to be better if we're going to compete at this level. And as it stands, it's not up to muster. You know what I mean? Which is quite an harsh criticism, but I'm sure Matt Amshaw and all the coaching staff know it's just not good enough at the minute. We need the players to be better than they are being at the minute, and we know they are better than how they're playing. And that's why it's so frustrating and so infuriating when we concede cheap goals like that.
Yeah. Thought man asked when did we last start a season as bad as this? It's the worst start in the third tier since '96, which for him was the Dibagara season. Yeah. We may well. I haven't checked other seasons in other leagues, but I just know for the third tier that was the worst since then. So bad. It was very, very bad. Matt Miller says, "Let's try switching on for 90 plus minutes." Usually says he's on loan for a reason. Yeah, but those things are right, Kev. But as much as it's an individual error, it's a team error as well. Because he's got his teammates that need. If you can see your teammates switched off, you need to be on them to switch on, and that's Danny's right. That's where Tom Holmes comes in. That's where Woody came in all those years ago, and all those other players. This kid needs help, and he wasn't getting help around him, and it was just bad, just very bad. Yeah,
it were, but individuals make mistakes, like you say. It's a team, but he's 19 years old. Mm-hmm. It's like you want to leave school, and you want to be an electrician. They're not going to make you climb a fucking lamppost. Make you climb a lamppost and repair that light bulb straight away. They're going to train you. You're going to develop over time your skills. And he's still learning. Yeah, all right. He's probably been playing football since he was a child, but he's still a teenager, and he's playing in a man's league, and he's learning as he goes on. And I can see a lot more positives in the negatives for Baptiste. I really do. I think he looks quality. It reminds me of Siriki last year. We had on loan from Sheffield United, very similar player. And he's smashing it in chat. He's a great player. And Danny's absolutely right. I know we've only seen 90 minutes of Tom Holmes, but him or Zach Jules, it's someone, an old head who can help him and guide him. Let's be right. He's going to make a couple more mistakes. We know that. He's a teenager. He's going to make mistakes. And we just need a tiny bit of luck, I think, especially on the injury market. We've got to get some back. Playing alongside him, develop him as a player. I actually think he'd be a better midfielder than he would a defender. I like the way he gets forward. I'd love to see him playing a Femi Ajayi's type role, sat in front of back four. See how he gets on with that. But Ami can't do nothing until we get players back from injury. Then he might try something different.
Yeah, possibly. Thought man also, as you can see, Dango being recalled, which wouldn't be very good at all. No, absolutely wouldn't. And let's touch on the winning goal, Lewis. It's just frustrating. It's just talking about switching on. It's the 90th minute of the game. They've got a set piece in a dangerous area, which was a stupid foul to give away anyway from Reece James. You've got to mark your man. And I know he's just come on 30 seconds ago from a substitution, but we've got a problem with defending set pieces. It's not good enough. Again, how many times have I said that tonight? It's not good enough, and it's just bad again.
Yeah, it was just needless. Like from the foul to respond to the ball and everything. It was just so needless. I don't. It was Jules' mark. I'm not even. I think
sure. It was Hugo. Somebody told me it was Hugo's.
Right. Yeah, it's just not good enough. Don't say it together about that.
I didn't even know that. You just added to my frustration.
Yeah, it's just
why's the centre forward marking someone at that point in the game?
Forward, will just come on.
Yeah.
It's just it's unforgivable, isn't it? Especially at that point in the game. Like, just, if you're not going to switch on, then what hope have you got? Yes, so frustrating. Just easy mistakes again, just like it was for the first goal.
Yeah, and it's not the worst thing about it, Danny, but it wasn't a surprise. It didn't make me any less calm, not knowing that they were going to score. To be honest, I was still like everybody else. I was still fuming, but you could just feel it coming as soon as they get a set piece in an area like that. You're thinking, "Geez," you just got a feeling they're gonna bang, and it's so avoidable from start to finish. It's so avoidable, and you've got to be more organised. You've got to be hard to beat. And that, I bet Dom Dwyer couldn't believe his luck when ball came to him. It's a decent ball. It's decent enough balling. It's just basically a free header.
Yeah, exactly. And the lads just come on as well. Like came on the pitch like 30 seconds, if that, before he scored. I know EFL have been singing the thing, oh, super sub and everything, but it's like, no, we create that goal by defending so poorly. And like I said there, it's Hugel's man. Why is a centre forward marking a centre forward who's just come on? Surely that has to be your centre half, or at least a more defensively minded player that knows how to get his head on it, clear it, whatever in those situations. I mean, it's the 90th minute. I mean, we sort of saw it come in when Mansfield got back in the game anyway, because it's like, oh, here we go, but we sort of kept him at arm's length a bit. And truth be told, I was sort of getting to that mindset of, hang on, we could get something here. And then the goal notification came up and it's like, right, of course we have. Yeah, no worries. Of course we have. But I think it adds to the frustration that it's a 90th minute winner for Mansfield. If it were like in 75th minute, then arguably it wouldn't be as frustrating. Of course, the defensive ineptitude of it all is still frustrating. The fact it's at 90th minute, so it doesn't give us any chance to get back into the game whatsoever. It's just added to the frustration even more. But again, it goes into that category of we've not done the basics well. The lads come on, they've got a set piece, they swing it in, and he scores. It should not be that simple. We should be more switched on. If it pings around a bit and they get a lucky goal, you can't excuse it, but you can understand it a little bit more. But it's just too easy. It's too easy. We've just not done the basics. And a team that has more injuries than we do and less options for a starting 11 than we do have turned us over just by playing football better. It shouldn't be like that. It should be at least an even contest of two very injury-prone teams. But Mansfield just played us off the park because they know how to do the basics. And they did the basics and they beat us. So I think that's the big lesson to take from this. We have to do the basics well. We have to learn. I shouldn't be saying this as we are a professional football team. We need to learn how to defend set pieces properly. Route one, if it comes in, you send it as far away from your 18-yard box as you can. But we can't even do that. And that's another frustration of it. You get me riled up here, Matt. I calmed down just enough to do the post-match reaction yesterday, but it's getting riled up again. It's just a frustration that we don't learn how to do the basics. And we've got until Thursday to learn how to do the basics against top of the league, which, is not a good thought to have.
Not really, no. And to add into the frustration, we've lost all those away games, Kevin. We're 5 minutes away from not playing very well, but picking up a point. Yeah. And that would be something to build on. It's something to cling on to. It's not a good result because of Mansfield circumstances, but it's still something that you've got there. And it just looks at the players' mentality, their fragility that they've got in them. It's something that they've got to sort out. So it's not a quick fix, but at the same time, we should be seeing something. Certainly every away game, it's just that fragility comes out more and more.
Yeah, I mean, you at the beginning of the season, you asked me, would I be happy with a point away at Mansfield? And it's a big fat no, of course I won't. But like you said, after losing all those last away games and being such, I think it's down to confidence as well. The lads are just, we're all here talking, and you look on social media and all the outbursts and the anger and stuff like that. these lads, the players, Matty Amshaw and this coach staff, they'll be equally as hurt. Trust me, they will. I've played football, not at that level, but if I've had a bad game, I'm angry with myself, and I know I've let people down. These players going for the human being, they won't be happy with what's happening. The confidence is low, and I think they could almost. Obviously, I was at the game yesterday. With 5 minutes left, the players must have sensed that we were going to lose the game. And it probably stemmed from that. So as fans, I'm not saying the fans could have done anything different yesterday at all in any way, but the players' confidence is just such a low ebb. It's really sad to look at, and I think get that back and like keep going back to injuries, get some players back from injuries, and give Amy some more options, and confidence will come. As it stands at the minute, players aren't really fighting for the place because there's no one to replace them. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Matt Miller says, how many goals we consider from crosses this season? It must be 4 or 5 by now. And I don't really buy this.
Too many.
And I don't really buy this conversation, Lewis, about, we've got Woody there or we've got Tonga there, who used to be defenders, so they should know how to defend it. You can have a group full of attacking coaches, and they should still know how to coach a team know how to defend cross and defend set pieces. Again, it's a pattern that's reoccurring that every time. Look at the Stockport game where we lost. That's come from a cross, which wasn't defended very, very well. As a group, we've got to get better at defending the basics. Again, how many times we said that today? It's just the basics of football again.
Yeah, I think it comes down to personnel again as well, because there's a lack of leaders out there. You look at our defence yesterday, apart from Reece James, they're all under 25. But apart until Jules came on, so yeah, that'll be a factor as well. And it's a weird one because when Matt Amshaw came in initially, we were quite good at set pieces. We scored a few goals from set pieces, didn't we? And it's just that's gone in our attacking sense, and it's gone defensively as well. Yeah, it's again, like I say, it's we've got out there. We don't have a Holmes out there. We don't have like a Woody-esque character out there to pull everyone together. And there's just no confidence at all. Just as soon as something we concede a goal or just something doesn't go our way, we just fall apart. And it's been the case for years, and it's just not going away anytime soon. Even with pretty much a new squad, it's just a lingering feeling of dread every game, pretty much, isn't it? It's just need something to turn our way, which it's not happening.
No, I thought, cracked when he first came in last year. We won 2 away games basically on trot. I thought he's cracked this away thing. We don't have to talk about it anymore because we're not going to win every away game. But I thought we kind of just got over that little bit of a hump, and then it just comes back straight away. On the goal, Danny, it hits Dawson very powerfully. Are you attributing any blame to Dawson for the goal, or has it just come too quickly at him?
Good question. I think with some of the goals that Dawson's conceded this season, where they are very savable, like take the Stockport goal, for example. That goal is very savable if he just dives at it. I think with that being in the back of your head, you always attribute something to the keeper has to do better. But at the same time, like I said, he does come at him very quickly. But I suppose we are a little bit biased because we've had Victor and Vickers in the past where we know they would save that because they've got very good reaction time. And we just have to deal with Dawson not having that. But at the same time, it goes back to what we said about Baptiste. You have to be switched on in those situations. And if your keeper isn't fully switched on and fully on his toes, ready to save something at the 90th minute of the game, you are going to have a problem. And I think it's a little bit like that. I think Dawson is a little bit flat-footed with it, and that's why he doesn't get to it in time. If he's a little bit more on his toes, he may save it, but the ball does come at him very quickly, so he may not at the same time. I think it's one of those where if the luck was with us, which it was at times against Mansfield, especially with the penalty, he would have saved it. But at that point, luck's gone out the window, form's gone out the window, our game management's gone out the window, he's not saved it. And it's another thing that's added to the frustration. So I think in an ideal world, Dawson saves it and it's a routine save. But as we are at the minute, he just has to do better. He just has to be more switched on.
Yeah. Let's scrape positive from what we can, though, Kev. Josh Benson's first start played really high up the pitch, and for an hour or so, he was the only player that was creative. He wasn't perfect, but he was very, very good. He set up James for that chance in the first half. He obviously hit the bar with his free kick. His set pieces, his crossing set pieces are fantastic. He was a real bright spark.
He were, and I think we saw the glimpse of that first few games. Then obviously he got his injury. He came on against Stockport, and I think he looked dangerous then as well. He had a great last 10-15 minutes, and that's what he can do. He just needs to stay fit, doesn't he? I mean, I watch him. Someone shared a video on Twitter. He scored a screamer for Barnsley about, I think it was 3 years ago today. It was an unbelievable strike, and that's what he can do. And I was really, really impressed with him yesterday. I think we've definitely found his new set piece person. I think Joe Powell had a free kick moments before Benson, and yet again smashed it into the first defender. And Benson virtually grabbed the ball off him for the identical free kick seconds later, and he put a beauty ball into that post. And then, like we say, he had that free kick in the first half. What inches? What one inch under that bar? That's 2-0, and for me, it's game over. He had a similar free kick in second half, which goalkeeper dove down to his right and saved. A real good save. He just gives us that bit of difference. And he was a bright spot, but he needs help around him, doesn't he? He's got to have something. I think him and Dangor, they're pivotal in our midfield. Keep them two fit and playing together and build around them.
Yeah, I completely agree, Lewis. And what how do you think in terms of Benson and Powell playing together? I do worry that Powell's meant to be how Benson is so far, and he's just not working out. I wonder, because we were wide open in midfield yesterday, it was a real problem how wide open we were. I wonder if Powell needs a minute, especially if you're going to play Benson. I wonder if Powell needs dropping you, bring Yearwood in or Kelly or whatever you want to be, but I'm worried about those two together leaving us so wide open.
Yeah, they are a bit similar, aren't they, in that sense? And I had too impressed with Benson. I thought he looked good. He was probably our danger man apart from a goal as well. But Powell's been off it all season, hasn't he? He's just been a shell of the player he was most of last season. I think he is due a spell out, and like you said, with both of them in, we all are light in midfield with runners and just a bit of an ugly presence in there, just doing the dirty work and that. And I don't know what's going on with Yearwood, to be honest. I've been quite impressed with him when I've seen him. And he's just been, I don't know if he's rubbed hamstring up the wrong way or done a non-bay, not training properly. Yeah, so it's a weird one, that, because I'd have him in there as that holding role for pretty much every game. Yeah, so it's I think he could be the answer for that, potentially.
Yeah, I agree. You were there watching the subs warm up and everything else. I thought half an hour to go, I thought this game's crying out for Yearwood. It's crying out for legs in that midfield to get hold of the game and do something different. And he didn't even make the squad last week, and I'm sure said post-match he didn't have any options off the bench to change the game. Yearwood can do that. And what were your take on the midfield and Yearwood not being there towards the end?
Yeah, I completely agree. I've been really impressed with him. I think he looks a bit cumbersome at times and makes a few mistakes, but he grafts, doesn't he? And that's what you know you're going to get 110% out of him. And I totally agree. Had he been on the pitch, he probably put down to an error by I'm sure then, because have him on the pitch and certain things happening at different points in the game due to his running ability. It were a strange one. It's the same with the when he fetched, what's he called? Striker up front, Tete. It's like I'm not sure that was strange as well. It came at a very strange period of the game. Yeah, Yearwood for me, it'd be one of the first names on that team sheet. I just think it just offers similar to what I've just said about Benson. That he offers something different, totally different to Benson, but we're missing that bit of aggression, bit of animalist in the middle of the park, and he brings us that. He loves getting stuck in. To say that, Dangor does. I love that about Dangor as well.
Yeah, what do we think about the shouts of red card for Gore yesterday? I thought it was a strong yellow. I didn't think there was anything more to it, but I've seen Mansfield fans saying it should be red. I thought strong yellow.
No, I think Mansfield should have had a red card. That could have been very easy. I think the referee gave him a yellow, said he was going away from goal. I'm sorry, but he were about to take his shot. Whether we were going away from goal or not, we were going to have a shot. And for me, if he's in a shooting position, that's a red card. I think referee shocking for both teams. The goal one, I don't really see much of it, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I don't know how to it. On Joe Powell, Danny, he had another quiet game. Maybe he was slightly better, but we're talking fractions here. I want to touch on what Matt, I'm sure, kind of said pre-match, where he said that sometimes you need to play players through these bad spells. I'm thinking, mate, you know, if it's Sam Nombe, who was a striker, who's not missing chances or whatever, I get that a little bit.
Yeah.
But Joe Powell's doing everything wrong. I feel so sorry for Joe Powell. He's so out of form that he may well play himself back into form. But can we really carry that at the minute? Can we really carry a guy who's out of form? It was a weird comment for me, that.
No, I agree. I mean, 9 out of 10 times for players out of form and you have options to rotate them, which we do in midfield, you rotate them. You rotate them going, sorry, you're out of form, work on it on the training ground, build your confidence back up, crack on and get your head right. That is what you do 9 out of 10 times. So to persist with Joe Powell, it's a bit, why? You know what I mean? Like you say, if it was needs must, and say, for example, Hugill was, as Hugill was over the last period of time where he'd not scored in the best part of a year, but he was our only strike option, you kind of have to persist with it. And Hugill has come good a little bit of recent times, fair play on that. But with Joe Powell, where you've got rotation available in midfield, like now we've got Benson, Spence, Yearwoods, Kelly, just to name a few, it's like, why can't we rotate it? Why can't we play differently in midfield? Why do we have to persist with Joe Powell? And I wonder if it's because, beggars belief, but at the period of time whilst we're waiting for Benson to come back, he was the best set piece taker and he was the first name up to take the set pieces. If we've got Benson back and he is good at set pieces, which he very nearly scored twice from free kicks outside the 18-yard box yesterday, will we see Joe Powell quietly withdrawn and more of Benson? I don't know. We'll see. But to just weirdly persist with him, it's a question of, well, why? You know what I mean? Why try and play a player back into form when you can take them on the training ground, have a quiet word with them, and get them moving correctly back into it, if that makes sense. You know, we do training for a reason. It's to train players to get better at what they need to do. You don't play players to get them better. You take them away, you train them, you get them clued up on what they have to do, get them in the right headspace, and then you put them into the starting berth or on the sub bench or whatever. So to persist with a player that is out of form, it just doesn't make sense.
No. And Scott Kent adds, it doesn't send a good message to the lads wanting to get in. It's not like we're short in midfield.
Yeah.
He said, I've mentioned it a bit ago, he said that we had no real options from the bench to change things. I wonder, these are minor things, but maybe he needs to be more careful about what he's saying, because that Powell thing doesn't send a good message. And if you're Jack Holmes sat on bench saying, I ain't got no chance, I'm thinking, bloody hell, this is not good. He's obviously frustrated, and that's obviously why he's kind of being maybe a bit more careless with these things, but I just wonder if he needs to be a bit more careful, because I wouldn't be very happy sat on the bench or being left at home. Yeah,
he clearly has his favourites, doesn't he? He's not as outspoken about it as Evans was, obviously, but he is verging on that line, isn't it? And like you say, he says an awful message out to people on bench, thinking, what do I have to do? Why do I bother? Like, whether I'm here to make an impact, and this is what you think of me. It's not a good message to send out, is it? But like I say, he has his favourites clearly. But he needs to manage the squad a little bit better, because you need to build a bit of hope, and hopefully those ones he don't fancy can prove him wrong and everything. He's making life a little bit difficult for himself at the moment with comments like that, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Matt Miller says, since the start of 22-23, away leg record, 74 played, won 7, drawn 18, lost 49. That's just 39 points from a possible 222.
That is nothing short of pathetic, isn't it? Oh, my God.
Just That's one of those stats where I don't even know what to say about it. It's just shocking. I wonder if anybody else in football leagues got a worse record than that over a similar period of time. They can't have, can they? Surely they can't have.
If they are, they're no longer in football league. Is my guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Just yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to say anymore. It's just difficult. Phil says, we are going to get injuries throughout the season. We can't keep blaming everything on circumstances. All the squad must be ready. And this is something we touched on a little bit last week, Kev, that look, Mansfield are a good example, really good example of they're done by injuries, but they're a team who really, really know what the basics are, and they really, really know how to do them pretty well. And that's all they did yesterday. They just did the basics. They made life difficult for us. They made sure we couldn't create anything, and they took their chances when they could. And I know Clough's been there for a long time, but they're a bit of an example of if you're not going to play well, just do the basics properly. And they got 3 points off just doing the minimum, basically.
Yeah, and I think I mean this with no disrespect to Mansfield Town at all, because size-wise, there's not much difference in the size of the clubs. But Mansfield Town, they're probably in the bottom 4 budgets of that league. They're probably, and they've been around the squad. The bulk of the squad, Jordan Barry and players like that, they've all been in that squad for some years now. Like you said, Nigel Clough's been the manager for some years, maybe on his second spell, but they've got a togetherness. They've got that comes with time. Like they know how. They know they're not the best team in the league. They know they're not in the top 12 in that league, but they stick together. Like you say, if you get the basics right and be there for each other and cover each other's mistakes and all that, you're gonna pick up points. We're not doing that at the minute. Like we keep saying, we're really not. And it's been showcased, it's been highlighted that we're missing these little things. Mansfield are they're good at what they do, which is not a lot, but they get things right. And there was only one team going to win that yesterday, sadly, after that first goal went in, and it was going to be them.
Yeah, I agree. Richard says it's abysmal record in terms of the away record. 4 different managers have tried. There is a curse. Yeah. Martin Miller says that the really frustrating thing for me is that from what I've seen so far, the teams in this league this year are very ordinary, and we're in the bottom 4 list. And that's right. We haven't played a good team yet. Maybe Cardiff, although we helped them along the way.
Yeah.
But we're not playing any good teams at all, and we still don't really look like winning. Mansfield, a good example, and Wimbledon 2 weeks ago is another really, really good example. They've got ordinary teams. I said, I can't remember if that's an interaction or just on chat with Danny yesterday. If you aren't going to beat a Mansfield team with no players who don't play particularly well, who the hell are you going to beat away from home? It feels hopeless almost.
Yeah, it's a very bad reflection on us, isn't it, when the league is this ordinary and we are miles off it in most games we played. It's it don't really build well for what comes ahead. But like we've said, we need players back. We need to get some confidence from somewhere, because some players we have got ability. There is something in there. It's just like someone said, it's like a curse. It's just like a feeling that's built over these horrible 3 years that we've had. That's it's just a lingering feel of this depression, isn't it? That's set into the club. But yeah, just try and get players back. Just need a little bit of good luck. Just something to go our way. Non-way goal to go on out the backside again. Just something like that. Just to get a good upward trajectory again. But until that happens, it's a bad vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, it just don't feel good, does it, at all?
No.
We'll finish on football, man. Football, in your opinions, how many more losses till things get interesting manager-wise? I can see it going downhill at Barnsley, just like it did with Evans. I'll run you through the fixtures up until the Barnsley game, because I agree that's an important. That's could be an interesting one. You got Bradford obviously at home on Thursday. You've got Northampton the Saturday after, but that is an international break, so there's a chance that'll be called off. But we'll wait and see. Then Leyton Orient at home. Then Barnsley away. That takes us to the 25th of October, Danny. What does Hampshire need to do to kind of stave off any kind of pressure, I suppose, is the question for those 4 games, because Leyton Orient are a good team, Barnsley are a good team, Northampton are doing a lot better than I thought they were. They're mid-table. I thought they'd really struggle, and we all know what Bradford are doing this season. What's your take? Well, there's always a cup game in there, but forget about
think, as daft as it sounds, it's the thing that we've mentioned more or less all the way through the podcast. We need to do the basics well, especially against a hard running like we've got coming up, which I wouldn't have expected to say at the start of the season, truth be told. But we need to do the basics well. You know, to quote the old thing from John Brecken, if you look after the ball, it looks after you. Well, we don't do that. You know, if we do the basics, then you can build from that. Well, we don't do that either at the minute. So if we do the basics well, then we can build from there. You know, you can't run before you can walk. You can't walk until you crawl. At this point, we've gone back to the crawling stage where we need to do the basics, look after the ball, and actually play football rather than just hitting and hoping when we don't know what to do. And the whole thing of staying switched on in the second half of games as well. In terms of the number of losses, until it starts getting interesting, I was having a conversation not half an hour before we came on the podcast with one of the resident Donny fans at the Tottenham Shive, and he was saying to me, "You're in a bad spell at the minute, but we were in a bad spell with Grant McCann 2 years ago." All right, fair enough. I'm not expecting us to have a sudden click like Donny had, where they went from 20th to the playoffs. That's like a 1 in a million chance. We're not going to do that. But at the same time, Donny persisted with Grant McCann, and it's worked wonders for them. Will the same thing happen with Matt Amshaw? I don't know. If I did know, I'd put lottery numbers on. But we have to, at least, in my opinion, give Amshaw until probably December at probably the latest. If it keeps getting worse and worse, then that's the opportune time to change, because you get somebody else in, give them a transfer window, and then see if it improves. If we do see a little bit of improvement between now and December, we keep Amshaw until end of season. If we trickle off, I don't think we get relegated. A lot of people have said to me, I don't think we'll get relegated. Then might change manager in the summer. But again, we'll see. So for me, as painful as it is and as frustrating as it is, and I get all of the frustration on social media because I feel it as well, we have to persist with Amshaw more than 9 games into a league season. You know, unless you are West Ham or Wolves level of bad in your opening games, you shouldn't have to change manager this early. You shouldn't change manager this early because it's not had enough time, especially with our injuries, to actually see any return on the players that Hamshaw's brought in or the players that he's got already. So for me, December time, if we don't see any improvement come December, then I'm fully behind changing. But if we do see a bit of it, then we have to persist with Hamshaw through it. I mean, the way it is at the minute is it reminds me of when we had what were he called? The guy before Paul Wall, what were he called? Alan Stubbs, that's it.
Stubbs.
Well, when we had Alan Stubbs in, it got to around this time and we were god-awful. You know, we weren't winning anything in the Championship. And we changed, we brought Paul Warne in, and it was one of our more successful periods as a football club in the last 100 years. But even then, it's like it was too early to judge in the opening 9 games. I think it took us until 15 or so to get rid of him, but we lost like the last 6 games of his tenure, something like that. So for me with Hamshaw, he has done badly in terms of results. That's by the by. We haven't won an away game at all. But the home games, we were unbeaten at home with Hamshaw until Stockport. Stockport was a bad result, 100%. But if you've lost 1 game under your current manager at home, it doesn't justify completely getting rid of him. You just sort of have to work on the away form. And that's the thing we need to persist with. And like I say, if it doesn't improve by December time, I fully agree we need to change manager. But you can't call for someone's head after 9 games. That's Watford level of changing managers. And we don't want to be Watford because we'll have the weird stat of we've had more managers than years of existence as a football club. You know, we don't want that. So for me, for the time being, we have to play the marathon game until December and then see where we are. But to do it now, it feels too early because a new manager wouldn't be able to do anything. And you've got numerous managers actually doing well at the football clubs. I've seen a few names mentioned in the comments: Paul Hurst, David Artell, Nigel Clough. They are doing all right at their football clubs. Why would they come Well, yeah, but it's like, why would they come to us at this point in the season when there's no guarantee of anything in January? There's no argument to actually get anything in January. So they are just at square one. It's like with Dave Artell. He's having an absolute laugh being Grimsby manager at the minute. Why would he come to a struggling League One team other than the fact he's from Rotherham?
Yeah.
You know, we need to be real about this situation, lads. It's the thing that we won't get anyone in right now, so why change unless there's something on the table for someone to actually change where we're in poor form and there's a transfer window coming up. You know, that sweetens the pot a little bit. But for right now, I'm still of the mindset of we need to give Hampshire time, and if it's still square pegs in round holes come December, then we're fully back there. We need to have a change of base.
Yeah. Harry says, for me, then it's not getting better. There's no sign of getting better, and that's the reason why he's on thin ice. Thought man adds the Barnsley game, it'll be 13 games in, potentially still wins in there, Lewis. Where do you kind of sit on this? When does he become? He's always under pressure, but when does the pressure become kind of real pressure?
Yeah, I'm in a similar thinking as Danny, really. I think it's way too soon, especially what the turnover squad that has been with injuries and everything. But the next four games, I think the results obviously are important, but I think it's more important the performance levels, because we're playing decent sides for the level. So if we come up short in a couple of games, but are having a go, create some chances and everything, it's a sign of progression at the moment we need to see, which is lacking in recent games. But if that starts to show, I can see a light at the end of the tunnel a little bit, which is hard to see at the moment. But yeah, it's far too soon for that. Give him, I don't want to put a number of games in it, but around until December I think is about fair, because like Danny says, you can make some changes in January, moving if we're in that dire desperate need of trouble, that we can do changes then. But it's far too soon. We just need to warm us those a little bit, I think.
Yeah. We found Steve Evans' burner account. Richard GM says 99, get Evans back. The other question to add into all this is, Kev, we can talk about all that, and I probably agree with what Danny and Lewis have said, but the real question is, where does Tony Stewart stand in all this? And we don't know. But the question is how involved, how bothered, how active is he in the football club at the minute to even make a decision now, December, whenever the case may be.
Well, he's not very active, is he? I think that's half the problem. I'm not changing subject. It's a centenary year, and he's not very active. There's no making the fans proud of the club and the history and celebrating the centenary. So there's the answer to that question. Regards to where he is with Hammy, I think it'll come down to what happens on that day for him, because I think most of his decisions, what I personally think, are either made on back of a fag packet or a toss of a coin. It just all depends where he is on that day. I don't know. I mean, can we afford to sack Hammy? I don't know what contract he's on. It's probably, it was a cheap option. We know that, but he's probably still on a 3-year contract. Even if he's on 200 grand a year, it's going to cost him 400 grand to get rid of him. Can we afford to sack him and then pay for somebody else? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. And I think that's half the problem. We don't know, because we don't know what's going on in Tony Stewart's world currently. He's in and out constantly at the club. There's rumours of potential buyout with his American. I don't know. People have asked me about it, but I don't know anything about it, if it's true or not. But again, even that comes down to what Tony Stewart wants. Does he want to walk away? Does he want to keep 51%? Who knows? It's just toss a coin up and see where it lands.
Yeah. Well, that's probably been out in a minute. We just don't know. We don't know anything. Harry says he's very impatient, isn't he? I would say he can be, but at times he's been quite patient. He was patient with Warney. He was patient with Evans last year. Like Kev says, it kind of depends on the mood.
Yeah.
And if it can be turned round. as somebody mentioned earlier about us getting beat up on Sky, if we do get beat up on Sky on Thursday, we'll bear in mind the person that Tony Stewart is. If we get pumped 3 or 4-0 to Bradford, could you see him getting trigger happy? I don't think he should. I think it'll be bad. But
I think if we do get an hiding on Thursday, as much as it's been a massive mistake, it is very likely Tony Stewart will come on straight after the game and sack him. This is what he does. I don't think the right decision. A lot of his decisions are made in a whim. But there's not much thought goes into him. And that's no disrespect. He's an absolutely brilliant businessman.
Yeah,
he wouldn't be where he is now if he wasn't. And he's done fantastic things for his club. But some of his decisions have been very questionable. And it's almost like he's not being advised by the right people around him. We know that for a fact. And his decisions are based on maybe, I don't know, just a whim and just a guess.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. More seriously, Richard says, more seriously, it's 20% of the season gone, approximately. Losing can become a habit that's hard to lose. Yeah, absolutely, Richard. We're as the stats just proved a minute ago for that away form, we know full about it, about the habit. Matt Miller says, what this club needs is a root and branch overhaul, starting from the very top. Stuart Stammer's up for him, but who on earth would want to buy Rotherham United? People. I'm certain there's somebody out there who would want to buy Rotherham United. Absolutely certain. Whether these actual rumours are true or whether they're just some nonsense, time will tell.
Sean Dyche. We in Nottingham Town Centre yesterday. We bumped into Sean Dyche.
Yeah. Does he want a job?
Just meeting his daughter for a coffee, believe it or not. No, Sean Dyche. And we asked him about the state of Rotherham United. Yeah. He said he won't manage us, but he'd buy us. That were his words.
Okay. There you go.
New York Talk exclusive. Sean Dyche wants to buy Rotherham United. You'll see it on Sky Sports tomorrow.
Five witnesses, and we asked him about the man. Would he manage Rotherham United? He went, not a chance, but I'd buy him. That were his words.
I stand by this. That Rotherham United it would be a good investment to buy. Yeah. It's got good links to wherever you get local airport, big train station in Sheffield. It's a biggish town, so if you get going, and Rotherham fans are great at following club when things get going. Yeah. I don't see it. Won't be much to buy. Because we shouldn't be much to buy as well. But anyway, let's just not go into that. Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to mention before we leave?
No, all good.
Good, because that was a miserable episode.
I think we've actually been quite positive considering what we're enduring. So
yeah, that's true. That's fair. Thank you all for this. We are back on Wednesday this week. Of course, we're playing Thursday. We'll do it a day early, so we're back on Wednesday, which will be a preview of the Bradford game, and then back to normal from then onwards. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe. We're at 95 away from 2,000 subscribers, so keep subscribing. Well, don't keep subscribing. You can only subscribe once, but do subscribe. We haven't done so already. Last time we got to 1,000, we made Danny eat some rotten fish. If we get to 2,000, we'll find something really stupid for Danny to do again. I don't know what it'll be, but we'll find something.
Why is it me? Is it because I'm the one who's autistic enough to actually do these things? Is that what it is?
Yes, correct.
I'm allergic to rotten fish, so I can't do it.
There you go. Kev can't do it, so Danny, you'll have to do it, mate. So yeah, please make sure.
Can we not make it an eating challenge this time? Can we make it like a physical challenge or something?
I can't do that either.
We'll think of something. If we get there. When we get there, sorry. If you are listening to iTunes, Spotify, follow, subscribe, whatever it allows you to do on your place. Matt Miller, we're at least going to win the Ryder Cup, aren't we? Yes, we are. We're going to all leave now.
Easily winning the Ryder Cup. We've absolutely battered the Yanks, haven't we?
Let's go and watch it.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you all for watching. We will see everybody next time. As always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Up the Millers. Comes for more. 2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots. Ravel. Vicious. But brilliant. The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United. Woods got round the back. And Richard Wood